here's Brody Brazil.
I'm not here to pretend like I know the entire Tampa Bay Rays financial situation, but we've certainly understood this. They're trying to build a new stadium. They've said they can't afford that. They're moving into a temporary stadium for this upcoming season and possibly beyond. It doesn't have as many seats, so supply and demand, right? The prices for these tickets in 2025, they're about to experience a pretty significant increase, and we've already found that from some fans who've been dealing with the Rays for their season tickets. They're just getting started in this process. One thing is understood. The price of tickets this year in Tampa is going to significantly go up. Here are some facts that we know. Tropicana Field had a capacity of 25,025 fans. Now, that's with the tarps on the upper deck. Certainly that venue, I want to say past tense, seated. Maybe it still will ever seat well more than 25,000 again, but with the tarps on, 25,025 was a sellout as far as the Rays were concerned. In terms of their average attendance from last season, it was a shade over 16,500, which put them at an average capacity of about 66% full on a game-to-game basis in St. Petersburg at the Trop. But now you consider 2025, where the Rays are moving into the spring training and minor league home of the New York Yankees. Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, it only seats a little bit more than 11,000 fans, which is 33% less than their average attendance from last year, which again was about 33% less than full at Tropicana Field. Try and put all this together and understand it like this. The Rays simply can't have as many tickets sold per game. They can't make as much money on attendance and fans coming into their venue or the merchandise or the concessions that they sell at games. So you'd obviously have to expect those prices go up in addition to just these ticket prices. But that kind of gives you an idea of scale of what's going on here. Some more facts. We obviously understand this is a difficult scenario and situation if you work for the Rays right now to have to transfer tickets and pricing and packages and accommodate guests and priorities and who goes first and requests. Like, there's a lot to figure out here. When your team had a stadium, it was the same year after year after year, and now everything has to pivot into this minor league stadium. So the Rays as a business and as a front office, they've got a lot to square away. Let's get to some coverage here from the Tampa Bay Times, which is talking about some fans and their experience so far for upcoming season ticket prices. So far, only information for full season ticket members seated in the most premium areas behind home plate has been released, and the increases can be significant, nearly 40% in at least one case. According to documentation shared by one season ticket member, a ticket in the black-chaired home plate club seating area at the Trop that, with parking, cost $18,959 last season was increased, with an upgrade of moving down a couple rows, to $26,325 this year, which is a hike of 38.8%. So again, totally different experience, smaller venue, maybe a little bit better seats, but a price increase already of almost 40%. Another season ticket member, Billy Martin, had not yet received the prices for his seats, which were adjacent to the Rays dugout at the Trop. Based on what he's heard from others, he said he is braced for a hefty hike, but plans to renew nonetheless. Quote, "My friend's tickets went up to $26,000, so that's a hell of a jump," said Martin, a Tampa-based business owner and self-described baseball junkie. "But I get it. It's business 101, supply and demand," just like we've been talking about here. Kyle Burnett, another multi-season Flex Pass holder, also is upset that the Rays chose to focus first on premium seating and full season plans. He had hoped the team would set aside 1,000 seats for flex and partial plan holders. Quote, "The Rays struggle with attendance, and for them to get rid of the people who are loyal to them, who've been showing up to games for years, their number one fans, for them to drop the lower levels up to like the mid-range levels, it feels like they just spit in and slapped us in the face," he said. Quote, "I told them in an email, if the full season is the only option, I already know I can't afford it. I'm extremely pissed off about the whole situation. It is very frustrating." And here's a couple more things that were pointed out in this Tampa Bay Times piece. And the first one is obvious, that the Rays made their season ticket holders, their full season ticket holders, the number one priority here in terms of sorting and settling things out. But I just have to kind of back the Rays on one part here. That obviously makes the most sense. the full season ticket holders are their biggest and most, at least financially dedicated customers. Doesn't mean they're the most loyal fans, but that's not how this works in trying to sort out their situation. But that's who the Rays went after first, the full season ticket holders. You would assume that because this process goes into January, they're just getting started on this. They're probably way behind the curve on this. They're also guaranteed to have some disappointed customers for 2025 and 2026 and beyond just because of the situation. It's not like it used to be. A lot of this was out of the control of the Rays and everybody else. Look, Hurricane Milton came through and destroyed Tropicana Field. Nobody in the Rays organization wanted that. And in this case, they're probably trying to do what they think is the best business move and the best logical move in figuring things out, trying to make them good for the future. But there are no perfect solutions for everybody here with the way this is going. I can appreciate that the Rays also gave the option to some season ticket holders and some Flex Pass members, apparently, that you can pause everything until at least 2026 because maybe the prices are going to spike in 25. Maybe they'll come back down, or maybe there's a lot of uncertainty about where this team might play after 2025. So they've told a lot of season ticket holders, we will allow you to pause. You don't have to kind of lose your place in line. We'll just keep you off the list for 2025 because of everything that's going on. And you know what? That might actually help out the Rays too as they try and accommodate everybody if some people just take a break for a year, but they stay on the list. Individual tickets are not going to be on sale until a lot closer to the season. And again, how many tickets will they even have on a game-to-game basis? And then what happens if season ticket holders buy a majority of the tickets and there is no real market for individual tickets? Now they're going to try and turn those around for a much higher cost. The average cost, if you think it was already high, it's going to go way up for individual tickets. And here's something else to consider. This is going to be the first time that Rays fans will ever get to watch their team in the outdoor elements. And I say get to, but you also realize there is a projected 6 to 7 to 8 games that are going to be affected by rain because that's what the Tampa Tarpons, the single-A affiliate of the Yankees, have experienced on average for the last decade. So they're going to run into some rain issues, some heat issues, some humidity issues. I don't know what this is going to be like, but in terms of ticket prices, we do know that they've gone way up. Again, none of this surprising, much of this to be expected, but a significant increase. And even if it's only 25% year to year, even if it's not the full 40 that was quoted there in the Tampa Bay Times, for a lot of people, that makes a huge difference in terms of season tickets, flex passes, smaller plans. That's a much higher price and cost to now go to a game. And again, all of this, while the Rays are saying that they can't even afford any overages or the new deal for their new stadium to be built 1 year later, it's already been approved. And the bond money has been put in motion by the city and the county, but the Rays are saying, we can't do this anymore. So the Rays are already struggling to some degree financially, and now they're asking for more from their fans, at least to try and accommodate these interim years. And I have to say, a lot of this is very similar to what's going on with the A's and in Sacramento and their potential future right now in Las Vegas. That's the end of this video. I appreciate you making it here all the way to the final minutes. Thumbs up down below. That would greatly help me and this video and this channel. And one more thing, don't forget to go down there and hit that subscribe button. That way I can definitely see you back here next time.